The story begins in a traditional house in Japan, surrounded by clear water and lush nature. Inside, a young boy named Minato follows his grandfather while holding a flower pot. When they enter a room, the old man helps him place it on a high shelf. After that, the grandfather gives Minato some snacks to also place on the shelf. While the boy is arranging the packages, a young girl in the next room suddenly turns her head, as if sensing the scent. She quickly runs into the room, catching Minato's attention. In his moment of distraction, the child secretly takes the snacks and quickly runs away. When he notices this, he immediately turns around and catches her in the act. But she only smiles charmingly before disappearing completely. Thinking it was a ghost, Minato becomes frightened, but his grandfather calms him down and tells him that what he saw was real. The old man explains that Minato can see things that others cannot. That is why he saw the girl, a peaceful spirit who has long been living in their house. Several years pass, and when Minato grows older, he moves from his grandfather's house to an abandoned home that once belonged to a distant relative. As he approaches, a young man named Harama is surprised by the new arrival in their area. When Minato arrives at the house, he is amazed by its size, but a dark aura surrounds its depths, giving him an uneasy feeling. He brushes off the sensation and tries to open the gate using a key. The moment the key touches the lock, a mysterious force appears and disperses the dark cloud. Startled, Minato examines the key and the paper he is holding, noticing that the writing on it has disappeared. Suddenly, a strong wind blows and carries the paper away from his hand. After flying off, the paper lands in a secluded shrine, and the remaining writing on it gradually fades. Deep within the shrine, a pair of eyes slowly opens. Meanwhile, at the house, Minato places his belongings down and begins listing things that need cleaning. While speaking with his mother on the phone, he wonders why no one has purchased such a large house. His mother explains that many people have shown interest, but everyone leaves without explanation after arriving. Minato nods, but soon forgets the confusing detail as he continues cleaning the entire house. Later, he goes to the garden and notices several flowers scattered on the ground. Minato becomes confused because he did not bring them. Shortly after, he sees a strange creature peeking from the bushes. A gardener soon arrives, and after several hours, cleans the entire garden. Afterward, they discuss where new trees could be planted. Minato thinks there is no need to plant anything, since he will only stay temporarily, so the gardener agrees. Suddenly, a dark aura clings to the man's shoulder, causing him intense pain. Minato notices this, and at the same time, a gust of wind blows one of his papers onto the gardener's shoulder. The moment it touches him, the pain disappears. While the man is confused about his sudden recovery, Minato notices that all the writing on his paper has disappeared again. Shortly after, he finds some medicinal herbs scattered nearby and assumes they were brought by the gardener. However, the man denies it, leaving Minato even more confused. The next day, Minato wakes up and goes outside to get some fresh air in the garden. As he opens the door, he sees a cluster of raspberries left there, as if offered to him. This time, he catches a glimpse of a strange creature leaving, reminding him of the girl from his grandfather's house. He realizes that a special being has been offering him gifts, just like before. Because of this, he goes to the market to buy offerings. When he returns, he lays out sweets and drinks as a form of gratitude. As everything is placed down, a mysterious fox arrives in the garden, following the scent of food. It reveals its true form and apologizes for entering his territory. Minato is surprised that a white fox is speaking to him. The fox explains that it is not a dog. It is Yamagami, the mountain god of that area. Yamagami wonders why Minato remains so calm. Minato explains that he only feels pity because of the kindness it is shown through its offerings. He offers the sweets and drinks to Yamagami, who immediately eats them. While enjoying the food, Minato also offers alcohol, but Yamagami refuses and instead asks for plain water, saying its power is weak. Minato agrees and gives him bottled water, which the god also enjoys. Yamagami thanks Minato for saving him, revealing that his power drove away evil spirits that were draining his strength. Minato is confused because he does not remember fighting anything, but Yamagami explains that the writings on his paper possess the power to repel evil spirits. Finally, Minato understands why his writing kept disappearing after each strange event. Suddenly, the gardener returns to collect tools left in the garden. Minato feels uneasy because Yamagami is sitting nearby, but the god explains that ordinary humans cannot see him. As expected, the gardener leaves without noticing anything unusual. Minato then once again offers water to the fox. This time, he gives Yamagami sparkling water, which surprises him, but he eventually enjoys the bubbles. While continuing to drink, Minato wonders why his writing has such power against evil spirits. Even Yamagami does not know the exact reason, so he asks whether Minato's handwriting is often praised. Minato nods and recalls that they once owned an inn. Back then, a customer noticed his handwritten sign and told him not to remove it, suggesting he should make one for his own home. After that, the customer paid him to create similar pieces. Since then, Minato developed a hobby of making signs. He shows some of them to Yamagami, who suggests hanging them around the house. Once Minato hangs them all, they suddenly glow and form a square barrier around the entire property. Minato is amazed by the power of his writing, but Yamagami says it can become even stronger with practice. A few days later, Yamagami returns to Minato's house to eat sweets again. Afterward, he demonstrates his restored power, but because it is too intense, Minato quickly calms it down. Meanwhile, in an abandoned facility, two evil spirits attack Harama, who quickly begins chanting a strange prayer. Before they can reach him, he finishes his ritual and creates a blue barrier that stops them. Instead of attacking again, the spirits retreat and flee. Despite the danger, Harama chases after them, as they might harm people near a nearby market. While pursuing them, he notices Minato walking at the corner of an alley. He has no time to warn him, and the spirit crashes into Minato. But to his shock, the spirit is completely destroyed instead. Afterward, a small orb falls to the ground. No one notices it, and Minato instead becomes frustrated again as his shopping list disappears. Minato begins complaining about the missing list to Harama, who wonders if he is just looking for a trash bag. Fortunately, that is indeed what Minato needed, so his trip to the market is saved. He thanks Harama and quickly goes to buy it, while the mysterious orb quietly leaves the street. Meanwhile, at Minato's mansion, Yamagami looks at the empty garden and uses his power to restore its vitality. Minato comes out and is amazed by the fresh scenery and clear water. He thanks Yamagami, but notices that the fox has become smaller after using too much power. A few days later, Minato returns home and is surprised to see Yamagami even smaller than before, along with three other animals. The small Yamagami explains that the martens are his familiars, named Siri, Utsugi, and Toka. Minato offers them sweets, and they eagerly eat the offerings. He allows them to eat as much as they want. After eating, Yamagami returns to his normal size. He notices Harama outside and instructs Minato to open the door. Outside, Harama trembles due to the overwhelming presence inside the house. When the door opens, he immediately asks to come in and talk. Harama explains that he is a professional exorcist from a government agency. He asks Minato if he used his power to destroy evil spirits at the market. Minato recalls the incident, and Harama explains that recently he has been dealing with more and more evil spirits. For work, he requests Minato to create a talisman using his power. Minato is somewhat confused, but Yamagami tells him to simply write another shopping list for Harama. Harama is shocked when he is asked if he wants a shopping list. He suspects it might contain something illegal, but when Minato writes ordinary items like tea and toilet paper, Harama almost spits out his tea in shock. After the list is completed, Harama notices its mysterious power. Minato becomes tired, and Yamagami reminds him that he used a great amount of power. In the end, Harama pays a large sum of money for the list. Minato initially refuses, but Harama insists on proper payment. Minato accepts, and as thanks, he draws a pentagon symbol on Harama's hand, explaining that it is related to exorcist work. Suddenly, Harama receives an emergency call and rushes out. At the scene, he finds his teammates trapped by a giant spirit they have never seen before. Harama charges at the spirit, but it rises to devour him. To his shock, the pentagon mark on his hand destroys the spirit, revealing the true depth of Minato's power. After a few days, Yamagami, the sacred wolf deity, became a regular part of Minato Kusunoki's daily life through frequent visits. While Minato was calculating his expenses from the offerings he prepared for the spirits, he realized that as someone without a stable job, he could not sustain the luxurious foods the garden spirits demanded. Even when he tried offering cheaper meals, the picky and arrogant spirits immediately rejected them, forcing him to continue providing high-quality and expensive offerings. Because of this, his savings slowly depleted, and his worries about the future deepened. In the midst of his confusion, Yamagami noticed a small mysterious stone that had appeared in the garden. Later, Minato went to the city to look for work, but even with simple part-time applications, he realized that his potential income would not be enough to support the spirit's endless appetites. While walking, he saw a raffle and tried his luck, and unexpectedly won 100,000 yen. Because of this, he temporarily relaxed and postponed his job search. In his excitement, he bought drinks to celebrate with Yamagami. However, when he entered a store, he became the 333rd customer, a number that delighted the owner, who gave him a free set of premium drinks. Minato began to wonder if his consecutive streak of good luck was merely coincidence, but later he continued hitting jackpots until he eventually became a millionaire. Because of this, he suspected Yamagami might be involved, but the deity denied it and pointed to a strange turtle in his pond, Reiki, one of the 4 sacred animals that bring good fortune. Yamagami explained that Minato had once helped Reiki without realizing it, after saving the creature from an evil spirit. Because of this, Reiki returned the favor by granting him luck. Eventually, Minato even received a call from his mother saying he had won 1 million yen from an old lottery ticket, so he fully accepted Reiki's power and allowed it to stay in his pond. As thanks, he offered the turtle a drink, and it immediately came closer to drink. Suddenly, a glowing orb appeared and transformed into a cluster of seeds. Yamagami explained that it was a gift from Reiki. Before planting them, he was warned that they would grow into something enormous, so he carefully chose a spot in the garden. A few days later, while Minato was heading to the garden, he was shocked to see 2 spirits on the roof, Fujin and Raijin, the gods of wind and thunder. Although they are feared in legends, they appeared gentle and friendly. Minato offered them cookies, which they gladly accepted while teasing Yamagami. Fujin granted Minato the power of wind. Under Yamagami's guidance, he learned to control it through concentration until he could create a gentle breeze. Yamagami said it could become even stronger with training. Elsewhere, Harama continued fighting evil spirits using the mysterious shopping list. As the effectiveness of Minato's pentagram began to fade, he encountered enemies and managed to save his allies just in time, leading others to question the source of his power. When Minato returned to the garden, he noticed that the rain had stopped due to the protective energy of the spirits. The seeds he planted had grown into a small tree called Kusaninoi, a sacred household tree. He decided to go hiking on Yamagami's mountain with the spirits, and despite the difficulty, they reached an old ruined shrine, which they repaired and cleaned in respect. While on the mountain, they sensed the presence of an evil spirit in the forest. During the battle, Minato used his talismans and wind power to destroy the creature, and from it emerged a mysterious being that immediately fled. When he returned home, Yamagami continued hiding certain secrets about the spirits. Suddenly, a small blue dragon appeared, introducing itself as Oryu, another sacred luck-bringing animal. Because of its connection to Minato, it also remained in his garden. Later, Harama arrived and once again requested magical notes in exchange for food. It was also revealed that Minato's notes were being used as business cards that could be thrown for exorcisms. Others were warned to keep his power secret so it would not be used for evil. In the end, while walking through the market, Minato once again encountered Akijo, who quietly placed a mysterious charm on his back while he continued walking, completely unaware. After a few days, Minato Kusunoki was busy writing another world-ending shopping list. At that time, Yamagami, the wolf deity, noticed a cursed charm belonging to Ikijo floating nearby. His vision tightened as he recalled Harima's warning that there was an associate secretly monitoring Minato's every move. Yamagami felt anger rise within him at the thought that some insignificant being intended to harm his friend. Because of this, he immediately erased the charm to protect Minato. Shortly after, Ikijo himself went to Minato's house after his cursed charms failed. He was accompanied by Hara, who asked what he intended to do once he met Minato. Ikijo replied that he planned to either mass-purchase Minato's talismans or force him to create a special artifact exclusively for him. Suddenly, Hara felt a strange wave of energy coming from the surroundings of the house. He could not understand it, but he clearly sensed an unusual power. Ikijo knocked on the door, and when it was not opened, he kicked it in anger. At that moment, a mysterious energy flowed through his body, causing him to collapse backward. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in a nightmare-like place, a dark world surrounding a sinister shrine. He called out to Hara, but no response came. Panicking, he ran, but suddenly tree roots blocked his path, causing him to fall and suffer severe injuries. When he woke again, he was back at the same shrine, realizing that less than a second had passed. His fear deepened when he saw rows of talismans resonating with dangerous energy all around him. Meanwhile, Minato quietly finished his list. Yamagami came across an article about his favorite bean bun, only to discover it had changed and now had a chunky filling. The wolf deity became extremely furious. Minato noticed this and remembered that Ichigo, a baker he often visited, was the owner. To calm Yamagami down, Minato decided to visit Ichigo. Yamagami accompanied him, although Minato worried people might notice him. Yamagami assured him that he was usually invisible, though people could still sense his presence and faint aura. Before going to the bakery, they stopped by a pet shop. Yamagami picked out a dog bowl, but Minato felt embarrassed and replaced it with a more appropriate container. They also chose a soft cushion, and although Yamagami initially refused, he immediately liked it because of how comfortable it was. When they arrived at Ichigo's bakery, Ichigo recognized Minato and asked if he had visited Yamagami's mountain. He also asked about the sacred mountain dog. Yamagami glared in irritation, since he was a wolf, not a dog. Ichigo explained that when he was young, he got lost on the mountain and encountered a mysterious dog that seemed to guide him. At first, he thought it was a demon dog, but later realized it had saved him. Because of this, he considered the creature divine. Hearing this, Minato wondered how Ichigo had survived, and Yamagami explained that he could not prevent human death, but he could strengthen their health using his energy. When they returned home, Minato received news that their house nameplate had been destroyed again. Yamagami explained that a spirit might be responsible, since its protective power had expired. Minato remembered the spirit named Washi. Because of this, Yamagami decided to train Minato to strengthen his abilities. He brought him into an illusionary forest through a portal. There, Yamagami instructed Minato to unleash the full power of his wind magic. Although Minato hesitated, fearing he might destroy the trees, Yamagami assured him they were only illusions. Outside the house, a Kirin returned carrying a durian as a gift, but it was rejected by the spirits Reiki and Oru, so it left in frustration. In the forest, Minato released a powerful gust of wind that shook the surroundings, but he could not withstand the force and lost consciousness. When he woke up, Yamagami told him that his body was not yet ready to handle his full power. From then on, Minato trained more intensely with Yamagami to strengthen his wind magic and endurance. Over time, he created a new nameplate with stronger spiritual protection. While Minato prepared to send it to his mother, Harima faced a new threat in a dark forest, where a shrine was surrounded by heavy miasma. After several days, Minato Kusunoki was sweeping outside his home using his wind magic. Yamagami noticed that his control over wind magic had improved significantly, but Minato himself did not think he was anything unusual compared to Fujin. However, Fujin himself admitted that his growth was impressive and predicted that the time would come when Minato would become strong enough to destroy his enemies' houses with tornadoes. Still, Minato assured them that he would never use his power for abuse. Raijin asked if he also wanted to gain the power of lightning, but Minato firmly refused. As the conversation continued, he noticed that Yamagami's disciples were absent. The old wolf explained that his 3 disciples had been sent for training, because during Minato's previous encounter with the evil spirit in the mountain, they had proven to be useless. Meanwhile, beneath a large tree, the 3 ferrets were fast asleep from exhaustion after simple training. After a while, Minato cooked roasted sweet potatoes for everyone. Yamagami happily ate together with Oreo, while Minato also offered drinks to Reiki. He also offered some to Fujin and Raijin, but they proudly refused, claiming they could cook sweet potatoes in an instant. To demonstrate, Fujin wrapped a raw sweet potato in wind, and Raijin heated it with lightning, but Minato noticed that it only ended up burned instead of properly cooked. Suddenly, a strange red fruit rolled to Minato's feet. He realized that Kirin had appeared again, bringing a mysterious offering. He tried to offer it sweet potatoes, but the creature panicked, fearing it would be burned like before, and quickly fled. Minato wondered what it actually wanted, and Yamagami informed him that it loved beer. Soon after, someone knocked on the door, and Minato found Harama completely exhausted. Due to extreme weakness, Harama fainted in Minato's arms. After resting and drinking water, Harama explained that the presence of spirits around Minato's house had grown stronger, but Minato simply brushed it off. Harama further explained that there was an evil spirit that Japanese exorcists could not defeat. This spirit originated from a cursed doll that had been brought to a temple for purification, but the priest who was supposed to perform the ritual died, turning the place into a ghost nest. Harama believed the spirit could be as strong as Yamagami, because they could not even approach it. He added that the temple existed in a separate space, connected to another world, and he believed Minato could enter it due to his ability to see spirits. Upon hearing this, Yamagami became angry and released an overwhelming pressure of power, but the ferrets calmed him down. In the end, Yamagami agreed to help on the condition that he would be given premium food. The next day, Minato traveled with the 3 ferrets toward the haunted temple. On the way, the ferrets were distracted by a dessert shop, so they stopped to eat apple pie. During the journey, they followed a crow that seemed to guide them in the right direction. Upon arrival, they noticed heavy black mist and a strong presence of evil energy. At the temple gate, Minato tried to enter, but a force blocked him. With the help of the ferrets, the portal was opened, and they entered. Inside, they found many cursed dolls. Suddenly, the evil spirit attacked with black tendrils, but Minato and the ferrets managed to defend themselves. A battle ensued against the dolls until the main doll, filled with darkness, appeared. Minato tried to defeat it using talismans, but it was too strong, and he was restrained and strangled. At that moment, Yamagami sensed the danger, and Minato and the ferrets began to glow together. With their combined strength, they defeated the monster and freed Minato. They discovered that the true source of the curse was an orb filled with darkness. Using his last remaining strength, Minato wrote the word Kusunoki on a leaf from the sacred tree, and through it, the orb was purified. As they exited, the entire space began to collapse, but at the last moment, Fujin and Raijin helped them escape safely. Upon returning to the real world, Harama thanked Minato. In the end, the orb transformed into a small chick named Hollow, the last spirit in the group. Minato took it into his home, while the spirits and ferrets lived peacefully with him. Several days later, Yamagami was quietly relaxing at Minato Kusunoki's home while eating fruit buns. While they were resting, they noticed the bird Ho teaching other birds how to sing properly. Although the birds looked like playful children, Ho was seriously instructing them to improve their singing. One bird became shy and made a mistake, causing Ho to get annoyed, but it sang again to try to help it learn. Yamagami and Minato watched the scene happily, enjoying the joy of their friends around them. Oreo, Reiki, and the Kirin were also resting in the peaceful garden, but no one noticed a strange portal slowly opening in the sky. Meanwhile, Harama was battling evil spirits in a contaminated area. After defeating one, he asked Katsuragi if they had finished purifying the place, but Katsuragi said it was not yet done because more spirits were appearing due to a special festival. Because of overusing his power, Harama was weakening, so Katsuragi helped him using his spirit sharks and penguins to swallow the remaining enemies. Suddenly, Harama received news of another spirit attack and rushed there immediately. In town, Minato came out of a shop carrying sweets for everyone. People noticed his presence and began talking about him as if he were a speaker of birds, which confused Minato. Suddenly, many birds gathered around to greet Ho-Oh, their star. As he continued walking, he met his gardener, who had already completed his 25th statue. Minato praised his work, and the gardener said he had become more energetic since visiting Minato's home. Because of the large number of birds, Minato quickly left to avoid suspicion. At home, Yamagami's disciples reported the appearance of strange portals. Yamagami knew they could not handle it alone, so he took action himself and leapt into the sky to destroy them. As Minato was returning home, he noticed the birds had suddenly disappeared. Fujin and Raijin arrived and told him to go home immediately because evil spirits were spreading and abandoned divine realms were appearing, dangerous to humans. One portal suddenly appeared in front of them, and Raijin immediately destroyed it. Fujin explained that divine realms could appear in the sky, on land, or in water. They warned Minato to be careful because these realms were attracted to him due to his connection with spirits and Yamagami's residence. If he were pulled inside, it would be difficult to escape. While Yamagami was fighting the emerging domains, he realized there were too many, so he divided his power among his disciples. In town, Minato found an abandoned shrine. An unknown voice warned him, but he assumed it was Ho-Oh. He ignored it and stepped closer, causing a portal to open that tried to suck him in. Ho-Oh tried to save him, and for a moment it transformed from a red chick into a majestic phoenix, but it could not hold on and reverted back to a chick as they were pulled into the portal. On the other side, Yamagami noticed that Minato's presence had suddenly disappeared. Minato woke up inside a new world filled with strange energy that weakened him. As he searched for an exit, he remembered that divine domains reflect the mind of their creator. Entering a cave, he found a woman lying there in pain, the creator of the domain. The woman complained about the thick, polluted air, but admitted she was too lazy to clean it. Minato explained the situation, and the woman was shocked because she had not called him. They discovered that her shrine was in ruins, causing her domain to lose control. She also learned that Minato could use Fujin's wind power, so she asked him to use it to cleanse the air in her cave. After hearing that it had been more than 1,000 years since it was last purified, Minato began cleaning it with wind. As a result, the dark energy dissipated. As thanks, the woman granted him the power to seal things, emotions, power, and more, into anything he chose. Meanwhile, Yamagami and his disciples continued destroying domains outside. When they learned that Minato was missing, they immediately planned to rescue him, realizing he might have been trapped inside a domain. In the end, with the help of the ferrets, Minato escaped the domain. They explained that the power he received came from Amaterasu, a well-known deity. Minato thanked the wind that helped him, and was able to communicate with the wind spirits around him. Meanwhile, Harama continued waiting outside a suspicious building. While talking with Katsuragi, other exorcists passed by, claiming the area had already been purified, and criticized their presence. It was revealed that there was tension between exorcist groups. In conclusion, Minato returned home and found Yamagami back in his small form due to overusing his power. Minato fed him to help him recover, while everyone rested peacefully in his home. A few days after the events, Minato Kusunoki was resting at home while wondering when Ho-Oh would wake up. Ever since the small bird used all its power to resist the pull of the abandoned domain, it had fallen into a deep sleep due to complete energy exhaustion. Yamagami assured Minato that it would wake up soon and explained that a phoenix is far more resilient than he imagined. Reassured, Minato calmed down and resumed testing his sealing magic using a box. Yamagami noticed this and listened as Minato explained that he wanted to refine the power he had inherited from Amaterasu. He planned to seal his spiritual energy into various objects to help Haruma deal with stronger evil spirits. Yamagami observed that the energy was simply leaking out of the box and told him that he needed a clear mental image of the object he intended to seal. A few more days passed, and Minato once again complained that another house buyer had backed out. He could not understand why interested buyers kept withdrawing despite the good location, well-maintained house, and spacious garden. Yamagami knew the real reason, but chose to stay silent. Since it was spring, he used his power to grow beautiful cherry blossom trees throughout the garden. Minato was amazed by their sudden appearance and learned that Yamagami was using his eyes to release transformation magic. From this, Minato realized that magic was more effective when used in a way that felt natural to oneself. Because of this, he decided to seal his power into the notes and memos he always used. As he wrote, birds outside began singing. Ho-Oh heard the sound and immediately woke up from its long slumber. Sometime later, Minato joined Yamagami's 3 disciples in searching for bamboo shoots. The ferrets explained that fresh water from bamboo groves could help clear the mind for magical training. Although Minato felt uneasy in the dark forest, he trusted them and continued walking. While they were away, Fujin, Raijin, and Yamagami gathered at the house. Fujin admitted that they were the reason no one was buying Minato's house. Whenever a potential buyer showed interest, he frightened them using his domain. They also noticed another abandoned domain approaching Minato's location and wondered why such things were drawn to an ordinary human. Fujin wanted to enhance Minato's power further, but Yamagami stopped him, warning that he might lose his humanity if his magic became too strong. In the forest, Minato reached the bamboo area, but realized he had forgotten his tools. He was forced to dig using only a small shovel. Suddenly, a massive bear appeared and roared loudly. Minato was frightened, but Yamagami explained that the bear was kind. The ferrets said it was grateful because Minato had once helped Kirin. As repayment, the bear easily dug up a large number of bamboo shoots for him. Although still nervous, Minato thanked it. The bear advised him to eat the shoots while they were fresh. While they all ate bamboo with wasabi together, Minato realized that the trip had not been for strengthening magic at all. Yamagami simply wanted him to rest and relieve his fatigue. After tasting the fresh shoots, he felt much lighter and more at ease. The next day, Minato taught Yamagami how to play shogi. The god was confident he could easily defeat him with his intelligence, but he lost repeatedly. Frustrated, he even tried cheating using wind magic, but Minato immediately caught him. While they were playing, the garden lake suddenly lit up. From it emerged a strange being named Ebisu. He explained that he had heard rumors of a human using magic and came to investigate. He admired the beauty of the garden and almost became enchanted by Kirin, but Minato stopped him just in time. Ebisu asked permission to use the hot spring behind the house, offering delicious taiyaki in exchange. While relaxing in the hot water, he remarked that Minato seemed to have strayed from the ordinary path of humans, though he did not elaborate further. A few days later, when Minato was again practicing sealing magic, a black fox named Tsumugi arrived, servant of a mountain deity. It clearly wanted to use the hot spring, but was too shy to ask. Minato invited it to lunch, and it immediately joined him. Tsumugi greatly enjoyed the homemade food and praised it enthusiastically. In gratitude, it gave Minato a golden peach from its master's sacred garden. It explained that humans could not eat it because of its overwhelming energy, but it would never rot. When Minato asked who its master was, Yamagami refused to answer. When Tsumugi learned that Minato also used the hot spring, it realized that that was why it could no longer sense an ordinary human presence from him. This made Minato uneasy. While he wanted to use his power to protect those he cared about, he feared losing his humanity. Yamagami once again reassured him, promising that he would remain human and die as the same person he had always been. This eased his worries, and he became ready to continue training. Yamagami suggested that he revisit his memories to uncover the true secret of his power. As he reflected, Minato remembered the first time he saw supernatural beings at the age of 5. At his grandfather's house, he encountered a kind and beautiful female spirit for the first time, marking the beginning of his connection to the mystical world surrounding him. After seeing the small spirit, Minato Kusunoki immediately ran to tell his grandfather. When he showed the gift he had received from Zashiki Warashi, his grandfather explained that it was a sign of gratitude from the yokai for the kindness they had shown. Minato was surprised to learn that Zashiki Warashi had been living in their home for a long time. From then on, they became close friends, and he treated it like an ordinary neighborhood child. Later, he also met another yokai named Heihei, a giant monkey who loved teasing others. It often stole Minato's hat and enjoyed seeing him get annoyed. When he asked his grandfather for advice, he was told to try becoming friends with the creature. The next day, he offered Heihei its favorite sweets in exchange for his hat. In the end, the yokai agreed, and their friendship began. Years passed, and his grandfather passed away. While attending elementary school, Minato became close friends with Ranaru. One hot summer day, as they were walking home, Ranaru complained about the intense heat. They ate shaved ice, but the heat still didn't go away. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and Minato saw a gigantic yokai. He remembered his grandfather's warning to avoid dangerous spirits. When the monster noticed them, Minato prepared for the worst. But a mysterious man suddenly appeared. When Minato regained consciousness, the yokai was gone. The stranger advised them to go home and asked about the town's hot springs. Later, he stayed at Minato's family inn. While there, Minato noticed that the surrounding yokai seemed uneasy around the man. The stranger often observed him and once praised his handwriting. He said his writing was clear and beautiful because his heart was pure. At the time, Minato didn't understand, but now he realizes the man had seen his natural exorcist ability. Yamagami explained that he was likely a real exorcist, a specialist feared by most yokai. While discussing sealing magic, Yamagami pointed out an important clue in the stranger's memory. Minato recalled the man's words about his pure heart. Because of this, he tried infusing not only his power, but also his emotions and kindness into talismans. At that moment, the talisman shone brightly. Yamagami confirmed that he had successfully sealed his power. Meanwhile, Haruma, Katsuragi, and Tsubaki's group were battling countless evil spirits. When they ran out of talismans, Haruma was sent to Minato's house to resupply. Upon arrival, he immediately felt the heavy spiritual presence within the home. Though it was difficult to enter, he managed to reach Minato and request new talismans. Minato showed him his improved talismans, infused with sealing magic, and explained that their effects now lasted much longer. While talking, Minato noticed how exhausted Haruma was from constant battles. Feeling sorry for him, Fujin and Raijin tried to help using electrotherapy. Instead of feeling better, Haruma was overwhelmed and fainted from the shock. After bringing him home, Minato and Yamagami went out shopping. While walking, Minato sensed an overwhelming negative energy nearby. Before he could investigate, an abandoned domain opened and swallowed them both. Inside the domain, they found a dark and terrifying cave. As they explored, they discovered an old sword covered in intense hatred. Yamagami explained that a spirit resided within the blade. Minato noticed rust and realized the sword's shrine had been abandoned until it was filled with resentment. Instead of destroying it, he used a special talisman to cleanse only the hatred surrounding it. Yamagami was impressed, noting that ordinary talismans could never handle such massive negative energy. After removing the resentment, Minato fully purified the spirit within the sword. The domain then began to collapse, and they quickly prepared to escape. Meanwhile, Katsuragi's group and Haruma were overwhelmed as evil spirits multiplied. Just in time, Haruma arrived with Minato's new talismans. Everyone was amazed by their extraordinary power. Soon after, Minato and Yamagami emerged from the abandoned domain portal. Minato held a brilliantly glowing talisman that nearly blinded everyone. As he left, he noticed that Katsuragi's hat resembled the one worn by the mysterious exorcist who saved him as a child. However, he did not think there was any connection. Back at home, Yamagami regained his strength and returned to his normal form. While fixing his fur, a mysterious orb fell out. He explained that it contained the purified spirit of the sword, now resting to recover its power. Minato carefully placed it in a safe location while Yamagami silently watched. A few days later, Minato Kusunoki returned home drenched in sweat from the intense heat. But once he stepped inside, he immediately felt the pleasant atmosphere of their magic domain, which resembled a peaceful sanctuary. Because of the unusual weather, Yamagami, the mountain god, decided to modify and improve their home. Minato warned him that he might overuse his power and shrink back into his small form, but Yamagami ignored him. Instead, he continued and added a stream and an arch to the garden. However, he still felt something was missing. In the end, Yamagami created a massive waterfall, filling the garden with the soothing sound of flowing water. Minato was amazed by the calming beauty of nature. But soon after, he noticed that Yamagami had shrunk again into his chibi form due to excessive use of power. Even the ferrets scolded him for overusing his strength, but he ignored them. Minato wondered why Yamagami was so obsessed with changing the garden. Yamagami explained that it was simply his hobby, reshaping the garden according to the season. Minato then noticed that Yamagami's own mountain was messy and neglected, so he remained silent. While thinking about this, Minato remembered the spirit he had saved from the abandoned domain and wondered when it would wake up. The ferret said it would recover and awaken once its energy was restored. Afterward, one of the ferrets called Minato to show him a stream in Yamagami's garden, where koi fish had suddenly appeared. Minato wondered if Yamagami had placed them there, but he said they had arrived on their own. As he watched, Minato noticed the koi swimming toward the waterfall's edge, as if there was no safe path. To his shock, the koi leapt upward into the air, beyond the waterfall. Yamagami explained that the koi were followers of another deity. Minato remembered a legend about koi transforming into dragons after climbing waterfalls, and thought it might be happening before his eyes. For a moment, nothing happened, until a massive dragon suddenly appeared from the sky. Minato panicked, thinking it would attack, but the spirits reassured him that it was a friend of Oryu, the dragon. When the dragon approached Oryu, the surroundings lit up, and its form gradually changed, from a massive beast into a small, adorable shape. The dragon offered Minato a box as a friendship gift. The ferret said it was a token of friendship. Minato happily accepted it, but the dragon kept giving more gifts until his arms were full. After the visit, the dragon left to return to its duties. When Minato opened the boxes, he found sweet treats inside. He gave them to Yamagami to help him regain his normal size. Yamagami ate them, but even after finishing everything, he remained small. Minato and the ferrets grew worried, but assumed he needed more food. Minato went to town to buy more supplies. On his journey, he passed a small hill identified as the domain of Tenko, Tsumugi's master. Suddenly, a powerful force tried to pull Minato in, but Yamagami protected him. Tenko appeared, a nine-tailed fox, and looked at Minato. Yamagami identified him as Tenko, Tsumugi's master. Minato noticed Tenko treated Yamagami poorly and seemed interested only in Minato's food. Meanwhile, at the exorcist headquarters, Haruma reported the presence of foreign exorcists. Horawa assisted in investigating a man named Ancho. In another town, two fake exorcists tricked an elderly woman into believing she was cursed and sold her useless talismans. A few days later, at Minato's home, Yamagami was still small, despite eating enough food to feed an entire town. Minato observed the Kusunoki tree growing and spreading its branches. He experimented with carving and creating keychains infused with power. The spirits noticed this and grew concerned that they could become dangerous weapons. However, Minato explained that they were simply charms. He gave Yamagami a keychain for protection, which he accepted. A squirrel approached and asked for a charm as well. Minato gave it one, and later it used it to heal its cursed mate. At lunchtime, Tsumugi, the black fox, suddenly arrived and explained Tenko's interference. But suddenly, Tenko possessed Tsumugi's body and challenged Minato to come to his domain. A battle broke out between Yamagami and Tenko. During their clash, Tenko repeatedly mocked Yamagami and called him weak. The fight continued in the sky, and in the chaos, Minato was struck, but saved by Yamagami. After the battle, Tenko declared victory and warned that Minato could be in danger for interfering in the world of gods. Then Tenko disappeared. Minato asked if Yamagami was safe, and he said it was just a minor conflict. Yamagami noticed Minato's talisman had been damaged and apologized. Minato assured him he could make another one. In the end, Minato and Yamagami chose to continue living together in the Garden of the Gods. Elsewhere, the two fake exorcists fled after being chased by Katsuragi and Haruma's subordinates. During their escape, they discovered a talisman containing a strange power. After a few days, Minato Kusunoki brought a large box of oranges sent by his mother. The ferrets immediately noticed it and became excited and delighted by the fruit. As Minato looked around, he saw Yamagami, the mountain spirit, quietly reading a magazine in a corner. Minato wondered if he was still feeling down because he had not returned to his true size, and he also remembered his battle with Tenko, thinking it might simply be a matter of pride. To cheer Yamagami up, Minato invited him to take a walk in town. When the spirit heard that food and sweets might be involved, he became slightly pleased but hid his emotions. The ferrets also encouraged him, so he agreed. While walking, Minato allowed Yamagami to sit on his shoulder, and together they headed into the city. Upon reaching the main street, Minato asked if there was anywhere Yamagami wanted to eat. The spirit struggled to choose, but suddenly noticed a building in the distance, a local newspaper office. Instead of going straight for food, he entered it. Inside the building, a tired employee named Tora was stepping out of the elevator, wondering if anyone still read their magazine. The president reassured him that their latest issue had been successful, but Tora remained uneasy. After the president left, Tora suddenly felt the presence of a mysterious being he had long written about, Yamagami. An evil spirit suddenly appeared and tried to possess Tora, but Yamagami arrived just in time and drove it away. Minato followed and was surprised that Tora could see him. Yamagami explained that he had chosen to reveal himself to him. Tora burst into tears of joy upon realizing that the spirit he had always written about in his articles on sweets truly existed. Tora introduced Yamagami to the president and staff, and the entire company gathered to see the legendary spirit they had long believed in. The president explained that Yamagami had once been a friend of the company's former leader and had greatly contributed to their growth. Yamagami confirmed that he still read their magazine and advised them to improve their articles about sweets, especially his favorite bean paste buns. Everyone immediately agreed. Afterward, Minato and Yamagami continued their walk. Minato was amazed that so many people still recognized the spirit. Yamagami explained that in the past, more people were able to see spirits like him. As they smelled curry from a nearby restaurant, they decided to go in and eat. Inside, Minato noticed that no one seemed to notice Yamagami. The spirit even used his power to float the menu, startling the customers. However, Yamagami calmed him down and showed that many of the patrons were accompanied by their own spirits or entities, spirit-bound knives, small companions, and other yokai. He also explained that Minato's ability to see such beings had weakened due to his peaceful lifestyle. While eating, Yamagami explained that objects long cherished can develop souls. A kitchen knife in the restaurant was alive, and even the wind chime at Minato's home was a soul tool that only moved for a reason. The restaurant bell only rang when a supernatural presence was nearby. In the middle of the meal, Yamagami received a call from the ferrets. Unwanted visitors had arrived at Minato's home. It was the two fake exorcists. He immediately ordered the ferrets to keep watch over them. Meanwhile, the two imposter exorcists tried to enter Minato's house, but with every step, the hallway seemed endless. As they went deeper, they were filled with fear and confusion. Suddenly, a dark fog engulfed them, and in terror, they felt as if they had been swallowed. But it vanished, and they woke up outside the house, as if it had all been a dream. Terrified, they fled while being watched by the ferrets. When Minato and Yamagami returned, Minato noticed that Yamagami still had not returned to his normal form. The spirit explained that it was simply due to overusing his power, not because of defeat or sadness. As they walked home, Minato noticed that Yamagami was gradually regaining his true form, showing his connection to those who still respected him. At a shrine, they encountered an elderly woman offering flowers and praying earnestly to the mountain god. Her daughter explained that the old woman deeply loved the mountain spirit and continued to visit often. Minato realized that many people still held deep respect for Yamagami in their hearts. When he looked again, Minato was shocked to see Yamagami in his true, powerful form. He had only slightly suppressed his light so as not to startle Minato. Yamagami explained that he was not sad because of defeat, but simply tired from overusing his power and because of breakfast issues. Minato realized there was nothing to worry about after all. Meanwhile, at the Exorcist headquarters, it was reported that the fake Exorcist's plan had failed. In the forest, the two were still scheming, but their malicious intent remained. Suddenly, a vast, mysterious domain opened in front of them, hinting at an unknown fate yet to come.